Hi guys, you're welcome back again to the channel. This is your girl Irene and you're welcome to another video. It's going to be a sit down video and it's going to be a heart to heart conversation. I want you guys to pay rapt attention and tell me, because there are things I need to know, okay? Because I've a lot of people who know me and my ex-husband have reached out to me and they told me that from what my ex-husband told them, that I'm the one that left my matrimonial home. I'm the one that left the marriage, that he didn't ask me to leave the marriage. So that because I left, so he's free to, you understand? And then me, I'm just, there's a way, there's how something, like there's how somebody will say something and over time, if care is not taken, you start believing what that person said. You start saying, "Oh, maybe what that person said is true." But then again, if you hear two people's opinion about, the story, then you'll be able to, in your mind, make out of, I don't know. If I'm all over the place, please, sorry. So, like I said, they've been telling me that I'm the one. He even told me that I'm the one that left. I have messages that he sent me some time ago saying that I'm the one that left, that he did not chase me out of my matrimonial home. And then I'm wondering, how? So I want you guys to listen to this story that I have to say now from beginning to end and tell me. I want to see whether you know me or not. I want you guys to tell me the truth, whether I'm the one that left this marriage or I was sent out. You get? Listen to the whole story and then tell me so we can decide. Whatever you tell me, that's what I'll take. You get? Because at this point now, I don't even know what to believe in anymore. So whatever you tell me, that is it. That's the story. So already we've been having issues. I don't want to bore you with the whole story of how everything started, how everything scattered. But let's start from 2018 when my first child died. 2018, few months to her fourth birthday, should have been 4 years in 2018. Yeah, few months to her birthday, she died. And then when she died, um, I couldn't. I was already 3 months pregnant with my son Ukoma. So and I couldn't live where I was living anymore because I was living in Obohel, Aba, Abia State. So I couldn't live there. I couldn't stay there because everything about the house, I was living in a 3 bedroom flat. Everything about the house was just reminding me of her death. Everything was just reminding me, like if I turn around, I would see her. I'll be seeing things in that house. So I didn't want to stay there. So I went to my sister's house. My sister was living in Port Harcourt Road with her husband and family. So I went and stayed there with my daughter, Elena, while I was pregnant. So I stayed there, and when it was time for me to go back to my house, I said I wasn't going back to my house. I don't want to go back to my house. Mind you, I wasn't living with my ex-husband. All through the time that we were married, we never lived together. He only comes and visits us and go back. He lived abroad. So I didn't want to go back home because I felt so insecure. I felt scared, and I was pregnant. So here, where my sister and her husband was, I felt protected. And the fact that people will be coming to visit me in my house to ask me questions upon questions, you know how it is now when they come to ask me, "Hey, what happened to your daughter?" I don't know what to tell them. Sure, you understand. So I called my ex-husband and told him that I'm not going back to that house. That they'll have to find another apartment for me to live in because me, I cannot go back there. Everything about the house is reminding me of her. So that was how we now looked for an apartment. Unfortunately, we found another apartment that was very close to my sister's house. Okay, a stone throw. Like I can see her house from my balcony. So we found another 3 bedroom flat, and I moved in there. So when I moved in there, as always, my ex-husband requested that I give him the landlord's number, I give him the caretaker's number, I give him, the numbers of the men in my compound. And for me back then, I felt it served as a way of protection. So they know that I'm not a single mother who's just living there with my child. You understand that I'm actually a married woman who belongs to somebody. Sure, you understand. So when he calls them and talk to them, they would respect me, and you understand. So I gave him the numbers. I didn't know I was shooting myself in the leg. So after some time, because I lived there for 1 year, so after some time, my caretaker called me one day and said that he'd like to see me. So he came to the house, and then he said, "Am I having issues with my husband?" I told him, I told him no, no. Yes, we were having issues, but I didn't know it was something a random person would just come and ask me. So I told him no, that even if we are, that couples have disagreements. So what is there? He said, well, that he doesn't mean to pry you, but then that my husband called him, and that the kind of thing that he's been hearing him say, to be honest, that he doesn't know what to make out of it because he shouldn't be telling him that kind of thing. So he came to ask me to find out, I said, I told him no, that we are not having any issue. He said, well, that he wishes us well, and then he left. So in my head, I was still thinking, what kind of call is that? Like, I don't understand. Mind you, we've never lived in this place before. So it's not like they know him or anything. Nobody knows us there. I am this kind of person that I might live in this particular house now, and for years, nobody will hear my mouth. Nobody will hear me coming or going. You understand? The only time you get to see me is maybe I'm coming inside my house, or I'm going out. Aside from that, I don't have time to go and meet any neighbor, have any conversation with anybody, like gossip or any. I don't have that time. I always keep to myself. Sure, you understand? Anybody that knows me knows this thing. I'm not saying maybe to praise myself or anything. It's the kind of person I am. I am an introvert. Now for social media like this, now they get mouth talk. Outside, you hardly hear me talk unless I'm very comfortable with you. Okay. So that one aside. And then one day I was coming back again, and there's this man, because it's a three-story building, and all of them are three-bedroom flats, and every family there are all married. Like everybody's married there. Everybody's living there with their husband and their wife. It was only me that is married. I was just living alone with my daughter at then, because I was still pregnant. So I was coming back one day, and then our neighbor, the one that lives downstairs, called me. He's a married man too. And I went. He said, "How are you doing?" I said, "I'm fine." So we greeted. He said that my husband called him. I'm like, "Oh, okay." He said, "Am I the one that gave him the number?" I said, "Yes, that he requested that I gave him, numbers of the people in there, and they are responsible men in there. So I gave him the numbers." He said, "Okay, that do I have anything that I'm doing?" I said, "For now, no, that I'm pregnant now, so I cannot really do anything now. So it's when after I've given birth." He said, "Well, that the only thing he will tell me now, that I should look for how to raise money and start up something. You get that's all he can tell me. That he can't tell me further. But the kind of call that my ex-husband called him, and they spoke at length. But the kind of thing that he said, that to be honest, if not that he knows me and that he has studied me in this compound, that he'd have said it." I said, I was confused, dumbfounded, like drop jaw. I didn't know what to say. I was just looking at him. This is the second person now calling me to tell me this thing. So I went back to my flat, and I was thinking, I said, what kind of calls? Like, what kind of, I don't understand. That one aside. So along the line, after I've given birth, yes, after I've given birth, my my child was around 2 weeks old or 3 weeks old, no comma. It was 3 weeks or 2 weeks old, thereabouts. When one day my sister called me and said, the bike guy that used to carry us, because we have this bike guy. If you live around Port Harcourt Road, you know how dirty and bad the roads are. So we used to have this private bike man that whenever we are going out, whether to market, we call him, so he'll come to the house and carry us. So my sister called me and said that bike guy called him, and told her that her husband called him to come and carry him, but then that he's trying to reach him back, but that the number is not reachable. And then my sister said that she's in the house with her husband. So, which means that it's not her husband that called him, that it's my own husband that called him. Because if it is her husband, that she's in the house with her own husband, so it couldn't have been her own husband. You understand? So that it's like my husband is in town, or it's like my husband is back. I said, no, it's not possible. That is abroad. There's no way he'll come back. So they call bike man to come and carry him, and I am not aware. No. So he said anyway that's what the bike man told him. So that she's telling me, so I should just prepare my mind. I said, okay. So I just, started arranging few things, some certain things, putting things together. I said, could it be true? So not long after, I heard knock on the door. When I heard the knock on the door, to be honest, I still couldn't believe it. So I went to the door and I opened the door. Lo and behold, it was him. Meanwhile, we were still having issues, you get, and the issues were centered around business, creating content. Prior to now, I started creating content. He said I should stop, which I stopped. And I was begging him to give me reasons why he doesn't want me to do the content. Since I won't be going out, I'll still be in my house and create this content. It's not like I'm going out and, tell me the kind of thing you want me to be talking about, so I can be talking about. But to say stay back and not do anything, to be honest, I'm tired. How many years of marriage now? And I can't continue like this. You understand? So that was where our problems were centered on business. So, and he's been telling me, don't worry if you give birth to start a business, and I gave her the first time. Don't worry if you give birth to you start a business, and I gave her the second time. Don't worry if you give birth to start a business, and I gave her the third time, because at this time I've already given birth to Mukoma. So, and I was upset this time that he's not taking me serious. So that was what, and he was calling me stubborn, saying that I wasn't submissive and stuff. So when he knocked and I opened the door, I was upset. I was like, you came in all the way from abroad, like you booked flights, entered the aeroplane, landed at Murtala Muhammed Airport, Lagos, entered another flight you landed at Owerri Airport. You landed at Owerri Airport and then took taxi that drove you all the way to Aba. Before you now entered another bike. Like, these are the things I was just reasoning in my head. Before now that brought you home. And you didn't as little as think that you should inform me, tell me that you're coming back. No information at all. Ha. I know we are having issues, we are, having disagreement, but you say you go drive all the way, fly all the way, come back, and I'm not aware. Ha. So I just told him, welcome. And then I went inside. He came inside. I was washing plates in the kitchen. So I went to the kitchen. I started washing plates. So he came to the kitchen and said that he has important something that he came to do. He has important something that he came to do. That I should give him the documents of the land that we bought. Remember, I just made a video about the house that he finished building. That was the document of it. That I should give him the documents of the house that the land. So that he has something that he wants to start project there, that he wants to do this one, do that one. And the thing didn't sit well with me because you just came back. You're seeing your child, your son, for the first time. And then you're rushing off to go out with paper, with property land. Like, I don't understand. So I told him, okay. Oh, so I came inside because my mom was in the house. So I came inside. I told my mom, see you, that he's asking for papers. Just now that he came in. That you sure everything is okay? My mother said, hey, are you sure everything is okay? Maybe you should just, just pet him. He's your husband now. You know what to do. Just, talk to him and find out if everything is okay. So I came out. I told him, I hope everything is okay. This one you're asking for papers of the land. I don't understand. Why are you looking for papers of the land? He said I should give it to him. That why am I wasting his time? That I should give it to him. That he have something important that he wants to go and do. I should give him all the documents. I told him that the document is not here. He said, what? Which document is not here? That if I don't give him the documents now, then me and him are going to have serious fight here now. I just gave birth to my son 2 weeks or 3 weeks at most. So me, I became obsessed. I said, which one is giving paper? You just coming in and you're looking for papers. What do you want to do with the papers? Relax first, remove your clothes, eat, spend time with your family. Even if you have something you want to do there, you can't, and after you can go and do them. It's not immediately that you're coming in and you're requesting for all these things. You don't even wait for day to break. Nothing. No. You're requesting for this thing. And he came back in the morning, which means it wasn't that day that he came back. He came back in the morning of that same day, which means, let's say he took a night flight and another early in the morning, and then from early in the morning he took another flight to this one. At least he should be coming back to the house around 1-2, but he came back in the morning. So at this point, we were almost shouting at each other, almost fighting because I didn't want to give him the papers, and he insisted I gave him. He knew the papers were in the house. So, and the box where I kept those papers were inside my mother's room, the room we gave her. So, at this point, my mom said, you know what, give him the papers. So, as I went into my mother's room to get the paper, he followed me. He had no, all this while, whether my mother was there, no respect, nothing, except for mommy, good evening, Abi, mommy, good morning. You understand? So, he followed me and started, he took all the papers, all the receipts, everything, all the house receipts, everything that we had in there. He just took all the papers, including the land papers. And then it was then I knew that something was up. You get, something was up. So I'm not going to tell you the fight we had after that and whatsoever, and how people came to settle us and everything. Let me reserve those ones. So finally, he didn't spend much time. I think 2 weeks or more. He left. He traveled back. And now, before he traveled out, because I didn't have any phone, so I couldn't even start the content creation. So I had to play cool. I had to act like I was a stupid person. You understand? I had to act dumb and stupid all the while he was there. Meanwhile, he asked my mom out of my house. He told my mom to leave our house. He called me and told me that I should sign that I will have nothing to do with my family, my mother and my sister. I don't have any other family. The only nuclear family then was my mom and my sister. Okay, my dad was late at the time. So every other person were extended, my cousins, which we hardly even see or talk. You get, so said I should sign that out. But him, on the other hand, has family members. Like, I can't count them. I cannot count them. There are as many as. And you're telling me that has just 2 people in my life to sign for you that I'll have nothing to do with them. So I told him no, that I will not sign. Meanwhile, he has already gotten me a phone. Techno Spark 30 or something. Then, so, and as at then, what he bought that phone was 30,000 naira. I saw the receipt. Even though he hid it from me, he didn't want to give me the receipt. But I saw it. It was 30,000 naira. So, but then he was claiming like he bought the phone very expensive, that the phone was very expensive. But I'm story for another day, sha. So when he left, it was few months to our house expiring. So our rent expiring. So we were still having these issues. The issues were, the problem was not solved yet. You understand? Aside from this business thing, there were so many other issues which I don't want to start sharing here. You get, for now. So the issue was still not resolved. And to be honest, all my intentions are we were going to resolve the issue. So, and then one day, my caretaker called me again and said that my ex-husband told him that he's not going to renew the rent that if the rent expires, whatever they do to me, that they should do. That he's just calling him now as the caretaker to time. So it's not if you reach that time, you start calling him to ask for house rent. That he's not going to pay for any house rent. So that if my rent expires, that they should hold me. You understand that I should pay the rent. I thought it was a joke. I said, which one is I should pay the rent? How? I'm not working. Where I won't see money, pay rent. So COVID-19 broke out in 2019, Abby. So I gave birth to my son June. So this thing happened around June, July when he came. And then COVID-19, it continued till 2020. So around April 2020, my rent expired. I was supposed to renew the rent. So my landlady sent me message the first time that my rent will soon expire in a month's time. Oh, it's just like when your rent is going to expire April ending, and then your landlord is sending you message April 1st. You understand? To remind you so you can start putting things to the money together. So when she sent me that message, at this time now, COVID-19 has broken out. There was no work, no businesses, nobody is opening, and it was the most trying time of my life because at the time we were having these issues. He has even stopped sending feeding money. You understand? He has stopped sending the money. I remember some of my friends then that used to send me food stuff.
Just look at it one more time. See. Sorry. Oh, Chineke Nam Gozegi. And in fact, I don't know what else to say. You guys should please help me thank her so much. This friend there, she has always been very supportive. She has always been very helpful, supportive.
So after that time, while these things were happening, so my landlady sent me that message, and I replied her and I told her that she should please give me time. That this COVID-19 is holding me. Like I don't have the money. Meanwhile, I'll be calling my ex-husband. He doesn't pick my call. He doesn't reply my messages. Doesn't talk to me. Doesn't call his children. Maybe today this thing starts anyways. So I didn't know what to do. I was just thinking of how to raise money, how to raise money, how to raise money. And my landlady sent her that she will not hear that I don't have money. I didn't know that he has already called her to tell her that if the money leave, if I don't pay, that she should chase me away. So the one was not stating it, like reminding me regularly that she will not hear that there's no money, that I should pay the money, pay the rent. You understand? That my rent will soon expire. So I knew that there was no point. I have to pay this money. So while I was still battling and looking for how to raise this money and reaching out to his family members to reach him, you understand? I got they came and pested something. I've made a video here of how I got my divorce papers, right? So that day I went to my sister's house because there was no food in my house. So I'll go to my sister's house to go and eat. You get? So follow her to her own shop because she had this shop at Ahiori. So every time I escort her to her shop, I will come back to her house and eat. So most times what I do is come to my house and take clothes and wear. So for 2 days I didn't come back to the house, so I will follow her. So one day I was coming back because we used to pass to my front door house to pass. So as we were passing, one of my neighbors called me and said, Mommy Elena. I looked at her, she said, oh, we have to pass on a door, go, which means there's something that they kept at your door. Come and look at it too. Immediately I climbed up, and when I got there, it was divorce papers. So when I saw it, I said, it don't reach like this. It don't reach like this. And then my neighbor told me that paper had been there for like 2 days or more, which means that all the people in the yard has read this message or this whatever that divorce was written there, and he wrote so many lies there. So they will read those things and they'll make out of it whatever they choose to make out of it. I'm sure they know me, they've seen me, they know how I lived there. I never lived a wayward life, so that nobody will come and say, maybe it's because. So they were even feeling pity for me, like, why will how on earth did I meet this kind of person? You understand? So I went back to my sister's house. I was looking at the divorce paper. I said, so true, this man doesn't plan to pay this rent too. Because if he served me divorce paper, that means he did not plan to pay the rent. What do I do? It was then that I started looking for what to do. I sold my chair, my sofa, the complete set. I sold it. I sold my bed. It was a big bed, big bed now. Is it 14? How I've forgotten. Very big king size bed. I sold my bed. I sold my generator. I sold most of my house things to be able to raise money. So, and you know how when you want to sell some of these things, people, they know you're desperate. So because they know you're desperate, they take advantage of your situation. So those things, I sold them for peanuts. For peanuts. Things that we bought huge amount of money. But because I was desperate now and COVID-19 has struck, no food, no money, nothing, my rent has expired, and my landlady is threatening to throw my things out. And anybody who knows those people then know that they are capable of doing it and they will do it. So I had to think ahead. So after selling some of those things, I raised the money. So I said to myself, if I paid this woman this money now, still stay in this house, what will I do next year? And nobody knows when this COVID-19 is going to stop. What will I do next year when the rent expires again? I'll not. There will be nothing again left to sell. You understand? And how can I live in this kind of empty house when I've sold almost all my properties? Again, it will be demeaning. So I decided, you know what? Instead of paying this rent, let me take this money and relocate to a village, because there's this friend that suggested I go to her village. So I relocate to that village, even if it's farm work, even if it's a poultry work, anything. So I'll be able to invest this money in before this money finishes. And mind you, I did not sell this thing that I said. I did not sell it in the thousands or thousands. So after selling my chair, my generator, the generator is new generator, big generator, Kickstarter, my sofas, my bed, my center table, most of my house important. You know how in your house you have quality things. Those things I sold all of them. So at the end of the day, what I sold, I did not even raise up to 200,000 naira. After selling everything, I wasn't even the generator that I even sold is more. I didn't realize even up to 200. It was around 150 and some little change thereabout. It just no reach 200,000 naira. So what I did, the remaining appliance, the remaining things I had already, I packed them and I went and kept them at my sister's place and I relocated to the village. That was how I went to the village. That many of you saw where I started. It was in the village. That was how I went to the village. And when I got to the village, my plan was that I was going to start poultry farm, do this. But by the time the expenses traveling to me at the time, because of the COVID-19, it was too much. The expenses was high. You get, so by the time we don't even reach village, buy food stuff, buy some kind of things we go dey chop, the money don't come down. And there was no light, no generator, nothing. So I would have to go miles to go charge my phone. And it's not for free, or I'll still pay money to charge my phone. So by the time I started, I even bought cement, bought sand to do one corner where I'll be doing the piggery, I'll be fishery that I wanted to do then. Before I know it, money has reduced. Money to now, capital to now use and buy the thing where you get. Oh my God. Not one day again. Before I know it, the whole money, I cannot explain. The whole money went down. All this while I was still calling him. All this while I was still calling him. All this while I was still sending him messages. My son will fall sick, I'll still send him message. My daughter will fall sick, I'll still send him message. I was still reaching. I said, like this now, this is it. So after these things, it was clear that he has made up his mind and there was no point anymore. And besides, what marriage was there anyway, I had to accept. I went and I met a lawyer and we drafted that, yeah, I've accepted the divorce. In fact, let us end this thing once and for all. So now, I don't want to go further than this. I don't want to talk, like, you understand. There will be more opportunities to share these stories. But so now I want you guys to tell me from this whole story now that I narrated. Jehovah knows that I'm not lying. This is exactly how everything happened. This is exactly. I did not on my own pack my things and go back to my mother's house. I did not even go back to. I did not even go to my maternal home. You get? I did not even go. I was forced out. So after listening to this whole thing, now please, I want you guys to tell me yourselves. Shey na me pack out of the house. Say na me left the marriage. I been at the marriage left me, because I don't understand. He has kept saying this thing. He has kept telling people this and that I'm the one that left, that he did not chase me out. Yes, he did not say leave my house, because he was not even living in the house. And the house is not him that built it. It's a rented apartment. You understand? So you can't tell somebody to leave house maybe not be your own. Abi, and also you're not even living in the house. So what he did was left the house for me, told the landlord, even the caretaker, that he was not going to pay any rent again. That if they needed any rent, they should ask me for the rent that he's not paying. And then I was still in the house where they served me divorce papers, in the same house. So it's not like I left the house and he came back looking for me and I was nowhere to be found. You understand my point now? So why is he lying like this? I don't understand it. I'm making this video because a lot of people don't know this side of the story. So they just assume, or I believe whatever it is he tells them. So these people, you see these videos that I'm making here now? Yes. I share it to Facebook, because most of them, all of them, they are my friends on Facebook. So they will see these videos and watch it themselves. Because I'm tired of always explaining. I'm tired of always, after telling the story and telling me, tell me who did I leave? I was tested at which one? You've moved on. Why are you still telling lies about me now? Why? Now you rush go marry. Now you are the one that kept ringing in my ear. You've moved on. Leave me alone now. Yeah? Where do you always look for opportunities to tell lies? Opportunities to paint yourself good when you're not even good. No matter how you paint it, people can still see through you. No matter how hard you try, to make it look like, yes, you're the saint, you're the good person, and it was me that was the bad person. People can still see through me and you. So there's no need lying. Me personally, I'm not saying that I'm a saint in all these things. I know I'm a very stubborn person, but they get at my stubbornness, they be. Now, if you draw and come out, you go see him, and you that time you get you believe. But normally on a normal day, I am not a stubborn person. I'm not a bad person. But there's a place you push me like this. If I reach there, I know they go back again. So your annoyance is that I did not come and start begging you after you filed for divorce. I did not come. How will I beg you after humiliating me, after putting me through a lot? Initially, I used to think it was because I had to get daughters first. So I used to think maybe because I'm giving birth to girl children, I used to like it used to trouble me so much. Maybe if I had given him a son, maybe if I had given him a son, these things it wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have, he would have, But to my greatest surprise and shock, after almost dying at the labor room, giving birth to my son, my mother in happiness called him. He was on speaker to tell him, "Hey, your wife has given birth to a son." Oh, think in her mind too, she was like, "Finally, my daughter has given him a son. He can now, you know, do right by my daughter." To my greatest shock, he said, "Oh, so I did not kill her. Oh, so I did not kill her." That was what he replied. That they don't know that they know they use the son, they use the shekamu. It's best said in Igbo. That was what he said. So which proved that it wasn't even about male child. It was just that he didn't like me. He didn't like my gods. Every other person na body share, and I mean when they tell and say, maybe every time we're gonna body. So please, you guys, tell me in the comment section, was I chased out? I mean, I was the one that left. Because I don't understand. I don't understand. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in my next video. If there are still more, I told you guys that henceforth, I am not keeping anything again. Henceforth, I am not. What is even there to be shamed about? You get, there's nothing even to be ashamed about at all. God be any business. I did my best. I am not the most stubborn woman on earth. There are so many stubborn women on earth, but they are still happily married. I am not the most bad person. And let me still put it here because it's one of the things that I said. I never, anybody that said that I had sex with him while I was married to him, or even immediately after, the person should come forward and say it. Because what I will not take is anybody lying against me. I'm done. I've tried to keep these things myself. I've tried to see how to just ignore him and act like he doesn't exist. But it's very obvious that every opportunity he has, he uses to talk about me. Every opportunity he has, he uses it to tarnish my image. For what? For what? Move on now. Leave me alone. You've moved. You've married. Sometimes I wonder how your wife is even coping. To be honest with you, I wonder. Focus on your family now. Leave me alone. Why is it every time we keep getting one call or the other? People saying things. After how many years? Eh? After how many years? Leave me alone now. The only thing that holds me and you together is our children. And so far, you haven't even been taking care of the children. So, what is it? Take care of your children and me and you have. You say no. I'm going to tell you guys a story about this children owner. I'm still going to come out and share about because he keeps telling people too that the only problem he has with me is that I don't want to give him access to children. How? How? I'm going to come out and talk about that one later, Sha. But for now, please tell me in the comment section whether I was chased out of my marital home, Abby, and I make pack my things and come out and I know they marry again. You people should tell me. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video.